Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another trip down memory lane as we explore what happened to the cast of the beloved British sitcom Allo Allo, 42 years after its debut in 1982. Get ready for a trip back to the quaint little cafe in occupied France and catch up with the hilarious characters that kept us entertained. Grab your berets and join me as we take a nostalgic journey to see what the cast is up to nowadays. Carmen Silvera as Edith Artois. Renee's wife and the cafe's resident cabaret performer, she is notorious for her terrible off-key singing, which causes customers to stuff cheese in their ears to drown out the noise. Although Renee holds her in disdain, she attracts considerable romantic attention from the local undertaker, Monsieur Alphonse, and the Italian captain Alberto Bertorelli. During World War II, Silvera was evacuated to Montreal and narrowly avoided death when, at the last moment, her name was removed from the passenger list of the liner Athenia, which was subsequently sunk by enemy forces. In Canada, she studied with the ballets Russes and appeared in 3 of their productions. Upon returning to Britain, she decided to pursue acting, training at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and gaining experience in repertory theatre. Silvera gained prominence as a television actress in the 1960s, first appearing in the British police drama Zeedcars in 1962, and later as Camilla Hope in the BBC soap opera Compact from 1964 to 1965. She portrayed Mrs. Van Schuyler in the 1978 ITV drama series Lily, about Lily Langtry, the future mistress of Edward VII. She appeared twice on Doctor Who, first in the serials The Celestial Toymaker as Clara the Clown, Mrs. Wiggs, and the Queen of Hearts, and later as Ruth in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. In 1970, she featured in the Dad's Army episode Mum's Army as Fiona Gray, a role specifically written for her by David Croft. Silvera also had roles in British sex comedies including Clinic Exclusive, 1971, On the Game, 1974, and Keep It Up Downstairs, 1976. In 1991, she was featured on the television program This Is Your Life. She did charity work for the Grand Order of Lady Ratlings, the female branch of the Grand Order of Water Rats. Silvera developed a passion for horse racing after her grandfather took her to a race at Warwick, where she won a bet on Light of Love, which came in at 7-1. Silvera married actor John Cunliffe in Coventry in 1949, whom she had met at the Repertory Theatre in Tonbridge, Kent, in 1941. The marriage ended in divorce, and she never remarried. A heavy smoker, she passed away from lung cancer on August 3, 2002, at the age of 80, at Denville Hall Retirement Home for Actors. Gordon Kaye as Renee Artois. The local cafe owner, who tries to stay neutral, finds himself caught in the conflict from both sides. The Germans are threatening to execute him if he does not covertly hide stolen valuables, while the resistance is using his cafe as a safe house for downed British airmen. Additionally, he struggles to keep his passionate affairs with the cafe waitresses hidden from his wife. Kaye had previously appeared in a radio play directed by Alan Ayckbourn and in a television play from Manchester. Ayckbourn suggested that he audition for the Bolton Octagon Theatre, where he was offered a contract. His roles there included Pishchick in The Cherry Orchard, followed by performances in The Homecoming, The Imaginary Invalid, Luther, and a double bill of Oedipus and Cyclops. His first TV role was in the BBC's Champion House, 1968. After being noticed by Pat Phoenix in Little Malcolm by David Hallowell at Bolton, he was cast as Bernard Butler, the nephew of Elsie Tanner, Phoenix, in the soap opera Coronation Street in 1969. He later impressed producer-writer David Croft with guest roles in It Ain't Half Hot Mum and Come Back Mrs. Noah, as well as the comedy series Citizen Smith by John Sullivan. Kaye's autobiography, Renee and Me, an autobiography, co-written with Hilary Minster, was published in 1989. In it, he described his experiences as a shy, gay, overweight, and typecast youth. The unusual spelling of his name, commonly spelled Gordon, was due to a typographical error by the British Actors Equity Association. Kaye suffered severe head injuries in a car accident while driving his Honda CRX during the Burnsday storm in London on January 25, 1990. Although he could not recall the details of the incident, he retained a scar on his forehead from a piece of wooden advertising hoarding that had shattered through the car windshield. He was rescued by the police and taken to Charing Cross Hospital. Kaye experienced dementia and spent the last 2 years of his life in a care home in Knaresborough, where he passed away on January 23, 2017, at the age of 75. Kim Hartman as Private Helga Gearhart. Private Helga Gearhart, the colonel's secretary and paramour of Herr Flick, is endowed with a voluptuous figure and a penchant for disrobing at the slightest provocation, showcasing an extensive collection of lingerie. She famously quips, "'Tis best to disrobe and query later when he's in such a mood." In a moment of intimacy, Herr Flick professes his intentions post-war. "On lengthy strolls, I shall leash you tightly." In addition to her role in the beloved television series Allo Allo, Hartman graced screens in Casualty and the British Empire, alongside appearances in The Kelly Monteith Show, 15 Stories High, Miss Jones and Son, and a 3-series stint on Grange Hill. Her theatrical repertoire includes a West End production of Allo Allo, where she portrayed Margaret in My Mother Said I Never Should, stepping into the roles of Vera in Stepping Out, Josie in Steaming, Across the Seas in New Zealand, Philippa James in Double Double, and Sheila, Bringing Life to Relatively Speaking. Hartman's versatility shone as Jacqueline in Don't Dress for Dinner, Allison, the protagonist of Mum's the Word, Doris Wagstaff, who kept audiences in stitches with her farcical antics in Dry Rot, and the captivating Bridget in Sitting Pretty. She embodied the essence of Judith Bliss in Hay Fever and portrayed Vicki with panache in My Fat Friend. Venturing into radio, Hartman lent her voice to productions such as Lord Skye and Jamaica Inn, where she played Mary Yellen. She also starred in Daisy Chain and an audio drama of Sapphire and Steel, in addition to narrating The Worst Street in London as an audiobook. Beyond acting, Hartman presented a travel program, Cruising to the Northern Lights, on the Travel Channel. Demonstrating her enduring talent, she appeared in an episode of the long-running BBC soap opera Doctors as Bernadette Hilsum in June 2023. Kirsten Cook as Michel Dubois. Leader of the local French Resistance, headed by one Charles de Gaulle, the chap with the sizable proboscis, she crafted intricate schemes to aid British airmen in their escape attempts and to detonate German munitions trains and trucks. Prior to unleashing her meticulously laid plans, she would assemble her cohorts and, with an air of dramatic flair, proclaim, "Listen with utmost attention, for I shall utter this but a single time," and proceed to impart the essential details. Cook graced the halls of Horsham High School for Girls, now rechristened Tanbridge House School, a grammar school exclusively for young ladies. Her acting prowess extended beyond the silver screen, with notable appearances in the BBC's whimsical children's series Chucklevision. Her television repertoire encompasses Woolcott, Rings on Their Fingers, The Dawson Watch, The Upper Hand, and Down to Earth, and she even graced the panel of the beloved game show Blankety Blank in 1984. Richard Marner as Colonel Kurt von Strom, the corrupt Germantown commandant who is busy hiding valuable local paintings and antiques with plans to sell them after the war, frequently visits the cafe where the waitresses entertain him. He often forces Renee to do his dirty work, threatening him with, "Otherwise I will have you shot," while Captain Hans Geering chimes in with a high-pitched voice, "He would. He did it before." One of Marner's early stage roles as Dracula, alongside Howard Dean, is still regarded by some as the quintessential portrayal of the character. In 1967, prior to his role as the German colonel in Allo Allo, he appeared as a German sentry in the classic war film The Dirty Dozen. His other films include Ice Cold in Alex, The One That Got Away, The Password is Courage, You Only Live Twice, The Boys from Brazil, The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, The African Queen, and the Swiss film Four in a Jeep, where he handled all the Russian dialogue. He also appeared in the television movie Birth of the Beatles as Bruno Koschmider. Marner featured as a disgruntled father in the Gorbachev Pizza Hut commercial, which starred the last Soviet leader, Mikhail Gorbachev. In 1991, when Russian President Boris Yeltsin held a Congress of Compatriots, Marner was among the 600 individuals who returned to the motherland. Despite being caught up in an attempted coup, he stayed long enough to witness, with tearful eyes, the raising of the first Imperial Russian flag in Moscow since 1917. Marner was fluent in Russian, English, French, and German. He married Pauline Farr in London in 1947, and the couple had a daughter in 1958. They initially retired to Kentford, near Newmarket in Suffolk, before relocating to a cottage in Perthshire in 2003. Marner passed away on March 18, 2004, in Perth, Scotland, at the age of 82, and Farr died on May 21, 2009, at the age of 91. Guy Seiner as Lieutenant Hubert Gruber, a German officer who has been reassigned after serving on the Eastern Front. He is suggested to be homosexual and appears to have an affection for Renee, though in the final episode it is revealed that he married Helga after the war. He is also involved in forging certain artworks. Guy Domville Seiner was born in New York City on October 16, 1947, to an English mother from Bexhill-on-Sea and an American father from Manhattan. He is a cousin to English actors Simon and Selena Cadell. His mother, wishing for him to be educated in England, led the family to relocate there when he was 5. After attending St. Edmund's School in Hindhead, he moved to London to train as an actor at the Webber Douglas Academy of Dramatic Art. In 1980, Seiner played director Max Sennett in The Biograph Girl, a short-lived West End musical about the silent film era. Although he was initially cast to voice the villain Man Ray in the SpongeBob SquarePants Season 2 episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 3rd, he was replaced by John Rhys Davies. In 2006, Seiner appeared in 2 films directed by David Roden, Beginner's Please and The Resurrectionist. From June to July 2007, he reprised his role as Lieutenant Gruber in the stage adaptation of Allo Allo for Twelfth Night Theatre in Brisbane, alongside Gordon Kaye and Sue Hodge, who returned to their original roles of Renee Artois and Mimi LeBonc. Other characters were portrayed by various Australian actors, including Katie Manning, Stephen Tandy, and Jason Gann. After Allo Allo concluded in 1992, Seiner relocated to Los Angeles. He later returned to England and settled in Chesham, where he was reported to be engaged to a local actress in 2004, Rose Hill, as Madame Fanny, Edith's mother. She resides in an attic above the cafe, where she spends her time in bed, dressed in white nightgowns and a frilly cap. This attic also serves as the hiding place for the British airmen and the radio, complete with the flashing knobs. When she seeks attention, she taps her walking stick on the floor and wails, "Will nobody hear the cries of a poor old woman?" Hill was born in London and earned a scholarship to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. She started her career as a soprano in 1939, performing at the Sadler's Wells Opera in London in soubrette and lyric soprano roles such as Despina in Mozart's Così fan tutte and Figaro. In 1948, she performed the role of Lucy in the world premiere of Benjamin Britten's adaptation of The Beggar's Opera. Hill's career in television and film began with the 1958 film The Bank Raiders and concluded with a guest role in A Touch of Frost in 1994. She played various characters, including Miss La Creevy in the Royal Shakespeare Company's production of The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby, November 1980, at the Aldwych Theatre. This epic 8-hour stage adaptation of Charles Dickens's novel featured Roger Rees, Emily Richard, Timothy Spall, John Woodvine, Edward Petherbridge, Ben Kingsley, Fulton Mackay, David Threlfall, Bob Peck, and Christopher Benjamin. Her film credits include roles in A Shot in the Dark, 1964, Every Home Should Have One, 1970, Tiffany Jones, 1973, and House of Whipcord, 1974. Flanders and Swan wrote a song for her titled A Word on My Ear. She spent her final years at Denville Hall, a retirement home for actors where she lived until her death in 2003. Her Allo Allo co-star Carmen Silvera also resided there. John D. Collins as Flying Officer Fairfax. The esteemed actor John D. Collins is renowned for his role in the beloved BBC sitcom Allo Allo, where he portrayed Flying Fairfax, a British airman stranded in occupied France during World War II. Demonstrating his exceptional talent, Collins was the recipient of the prestigious Ivor Novello and Robert Donat scholarships to RADA. Upon completing his studies, he took on the role of managing the summer theatre at Frinton-on-Sea, Essex, for a 3-year tenure before joining the inaugural season of the Nottingham Playhouse. During the early phase of his career, Collins graced the silver screen in several notable films, including the Hammer film production Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, 1968, as well as adaptations of popular series such as Till Death Us Do Part, 1969, and Dad's Army, 1971. He further showcased his versatility in The Adventures of Barry Mackenzie, 1972, The Ghoul, 1975, and The Boys in Blue, 1982. In addition to his film credits, Collins also built an impressive repertoire with appearances in numerous plays for Granada Television. His versatility shone through in his role as a vicar in Coronation Street, where his character failed to marry Albert Tatlock. Collins also left his mark on another iconic BBC sitcom, Only Fools and Horses, initially featuring in the episode Ashes to Ashes as a river policeman who informs Dell and Rodney of the requirement for river permission to dispose of ashes. He returned in the episode Sleeping Dogs Lie as a veterinarian. Expanding his repertoire even further, Collins delighted younger audiences with his appearances in BBC children's programs, including Chucklevision, where he played a flying instructor in the memorable 1996 episode Dear Diary. Richard Gibson as Herr Otto Flick, the local Gestapo officer who tries to show as little emotion as possible. He dresses in a long, leather double-breasted coat over a pinstriped suit, with a wide-brimmed leather hat, leather gloves, and octagonal steel-rimmed glasses. In the episode Watch the Birdie, he is shown wearing an SS uniform with the insignia of Sturmbannführer. He may actually hold that rank given that he is the godson of Heinrich Himmler. He then toured with the group when Allo Allo transferred to the stage and had successful tours both in the United Kingdom and abroad. The stage version of the show allowed him to showcase his other skills, and he was able to demonstrate his mastery of the violin. He portrayed Sunning in the 1971 BBC One television series Tom Brown's School Days. His first notable film role was in the 1971 film The Go-Between, where he played Marcus Maudsley, the school friend of Leo Colston, Dominic Guard, who passed messages between Julie Christie and Alan Bates. He also portrayed young Tony Farrant in the 1973 film version of England Made Me. He has taken on a wide variety of roles on stage and screen, and in 2006, he was a regular guest on the Daily Telegraph's World Cup pubcast, reprising his role as Herr Flick and offering a biased perspective on the proceedings. In 2003, he guest-starred in the Doctor Who audio drama Flip Flop. In 2014, they were guest performers at the Malfest Arts Festival in Malpass, Cheshire, and also appeared at the War and Peace show at the Hop Farm in Kent. In the same year, Gibson appeared with other Allo Allo cast members at the Sofia International Film Festival. Gibson's work also extends to radio acting, scriptwriting, and voiceover artistry. He has claimed that as a chorister, he sang at the funeral service of Sir Winston Churchill in 1965 and was paid $2.10 for his contribution on that day. Arthur Bostrom as Officer Crabtree, a British spy who is pretending to be a French police officer. Unfortunately, his French skills are poor, and he often mispronounces vowel sounds, making him difficult to understand. This is most famously demonstrated by his frequent greeting of "good morning." Bostrom was born in Rugby, Warwickshire, and attended Lawrence Sheriff School, where he was a contemporary of Kevin Warwick. He graduated from St. Chad's College, University of Durham, as part of the Durham University Sensible Thespians, DUST. In addition to his television work, he is an experienced stage actor and a trained life coach. He lived in Manchester for many years. In 2005, Bostrom appeared as a guest in Dead Man Walking, an audio drama based on the TV series Sapphire and Steel. From December 2007 to January 2008, he performed in pantomime as an ugly sister in Cinderella in Middlesbrough. In 2008, he was featured in an episode of Big Brother's Big Mouth on E4, where he discussed events from the house in his familiar character of Officer Crabtree. On March 3, 2010, he played a vicar in the BBC One daytime soap opera Doctors and returned to Doctors on January 25, 2016, as sommelier Murray Bathurst. Bostrom also appeared alongside fellow Allo Allo cast member Sam Kelly in the BBC radio adaptation of The Good Soldier Schweik by Jaroslav Hasek in November 2008, portraying Wendler. In November 2012, he played a newspaper editor in Hebburn. In 2017, he was featured in the BBC series Father Brown as Richie Queenan in the episode The Theatre of the Invisible. That year, he also appeared on a celebrity edition of Pointless. In October 2018, he revisited his role from Allo Allo in the book Good Morning France, Officer Crabtree's Franche Froze Burke, where he attempts to teach others to spook the French language. John Louis Mansi as Herr Engelbert von Smallhausen. Herr Flick's assistant, a carbon copy in attire but a fraction of his superior's height, von Smallhausen mimics Flick's pronounced limp with comical effect. His suggestions are consistently dim-witted, earning him frequent reprimands from Herr Flick. Born in London to an Italian father and an Irish mother, the actor who played von Smallhausen served in both the Merchant Navy and the RAF during World War II. He adopted his father's surname as his stage name and later added Lewis after being told he resembled Louis Dombrowski from the Bowery Boys film series. His acting credits include appearances in Department S, The Treasure of the Costa del Sol, 1969, Ripping Yarns, Across the Andes by Frog, and Hammer House of Horror, The 13th Reunion. He also graced the big screen in films such as The Small World of Sammy Lee, 1963, Help, 1965, featuring the Beatles, the classic The Italian Job, 1969, Tales from the Crypt, 1972, and Ooh, You Are Awful, 1972, with Dick Emery. Following the conclusion of Allo Allo in 1992, he retired from acting, often credited as Louis Mansi. He battled Parkinson's disease for 6 years and was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer in May 2010. He enjoyed reading, letter writing, animal welfare, and reliving old favorites through DVDs and videos. Nicholas Frankau as Flying Officer Carstairs. The esteemed actor Nicholas Frankau, most celebrated for his portrayal of Flator Lieutenant Carstairs in the beloved British sitcom Allo Allo, a series steeped in the comedic struggles of characters unable to return to their homeland, led a life of diverse pursuits. Educated at the renowned Harrow School, he proceeded to earn his degree from St. Catherine's College, Cambridge, in 1976. Beyond Allo Allo, Frankau graced screens in productions like Blake's Seven, the thought-provoking Play for Today, and the intriguing Cats Eyes, to name a few. He diversified his talents by stepping into the role of a supply teacher, imparting knowledge in maths at the Jewish Free School in Camden Town and Coleridge Community College in Cambridge. His teaching journey also took him to County Upper School in Bury St. Edmunds and Newmarket Upper School in Newmarket, Suffolk. Today, Frankau has stepped away from the limelight, leading a quiet life in Cambridge as a software engineer, crafting codes and algorithms for a living, having left his mark at renowned tech entities such as Qualcomm, Nokia, and Symbian. Kenneth Connor as Monsieur Alphonse. Alphonse, the half-Belgian Undertaker, is known for his quick and stylish approach. He is infatuated with Madame Edith and frequently courts her with flowers and the promise of a life above the mortuary. He suffers from a serious heart condition, causing his dicky ticker to race whenever he catches a glimpse of women's undergarments. Connor joined the London Old Vic Company for the 1947-48 season at the New Theatre, where he delivered notable performances as Chaplain de Stogumber in St. Joan and Dobczynski in The Government Inspector, which featured Alec Guinness. Realizing that he was not suited for roles as a tall, impressive juvenile lead or a young lover type, he chose to focus on comedy. In 1949, Connor appeared in Talbot Rothwell's farce, Queen Elizabeth Slept Here in the West End. Between 1971 and 1973, he worked alongside Dad's Army stars Arthur Lowe and Ian Lavender in the BBC radio comedy Parsley Sidings. On television, his credits include The Black and White Minstrel Show, playing What's-His-Name Smith in the children's show Rent-A-Ghost, 1983-84, and Uncle Sammy Morris in Hi-de-Hi, 1986-88. He also made guest appearances in sitcoms like That's My Boy and You Rang My Lord, and appeared in The Blackadder, the third episode, Sense and Senility, in 1987, alongside fellow veteran comic star Hugh Paddock. In 1991, he was honored as a member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE. Connor was still actively working just days before his death, making an appearance on Noel Edmonds' Telly Addicts. His final television appearance, as Mr. Warren in The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes episode The Red Circle, aired posthumously in 1994. Connor passed away from cancer at the age of 75 on November 28, 1993, at his home in Harrow, Middlesex. Sue Hodge as Mimi LeBlanc. Mimi LeBlanc, played by Sue Hodge, appeared in seasons 4 through 9 of Allo Allo as the replacement waitress for Maria. Like her predecessor, Mimi is short in height but has a fiery personality, particularly when it comes to her hatred of the Germans. She is also a member of the Resistance, and her card lists her address as straight up the stairs, first on the left past the linen cupboard. Mimi often flirts with Renee and has a secret mission to woo and then kill German soldiers. After the show ended, Hodge reprised her role in the return of Allo Allo in 2007 and again in a stage show in Brisbane, Australia the same year. She portrayed Mimi alongside Gordon Kaye as René Artois and Guy Siner as Lieutenant Hubert Gruber. The remaining characters were played by well-known Australian actors, including Stephen Tandy, Chloe Dallimore, Jason Gann, Tony Alcock, and Katie Manning. Hodge's career continued to flourish after Allo Allo. In 2009, she returned to British television screens, playing Connie in the BBC Three sitcom The Lads Club. In 2016, she took on the role of Nurse Mimi in the Haverhill Arts Centre production of the pantomime Robin Hood. Today, Sue tours with her one-woman show, Mimi and Me, Allo Again, and has written a book, Mimi's Memoirs, which offers a behind-the-scenes look at her time on the popular sitcom. Hilary Minster, as General Erich von Klinkerhoffen, a ruthless commander who frequently threatens to have French peasants executed whenever the resistance launches attacks against the Germans. He resides in a grand chateau and is courted by serving girls as part of a resistance plot to steal the knockwurst. In 1974, Minster appeared as Lieutenant Lightfoot in the Upstairs-Downstairs episode Facing Fearful Odds. He portrayed a motorcyclist in the TV series The Long Chase, Marat in Planet of the Daleks, 1973, and an unnamed Thal soldier who hangs Sarah Jane Smith from the rocket gantry in Genesis of the Daleks, 1975, alongside fellow Allo Allo actor Guy Siner, who is notable for having played two characters from the same alien race. Minster also had a significant role as Yagan in the 1978 episode Achilles' Heel of the Tomorrow People. Though his film roles were limited, he appeared in A Bridge Too Far, 1977, The Godsend, 1980, Cry Freedom, 1987, and The Girl in a Swing, 1988. During the early 1980s, he was a presenter and producer for Central Independent Television's flagship ethnic current affairs program, Here and Now. Minster narrated the controversial Central Television documentary The Men Who Killed Kennedy, which explored various theories about the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. He passed away from cancer in London on November 24, 1999. Vicki Michelle as Yvette Carte Blanche. Head waitress at the cafe and René's lover, she is deeply infatuated with him and dreams of eloping with him to Geneva, Switzerland. However, she cannot leave as René must remain with his wife. She also plays a role in entertaining the German officers upstairs at the cafe, using props like wet celery, a flying helmet, and occasionally an egg whisk. Michelle began her television career while still at stage school, with her first appearance in Dixon of Dock Green. She later had an uncredited role dancing at a party in the Haunted House of Horror, 1969, and performed in the play Play It Again, Sam with Dudley Moore in the West End from 1969 to 1970. In 2013, she played Deborah Whitten in the romantic comedy film The Callback Queen. The following year, Michelle returned to the stage in the successful play Hello, Norma Jean at London's King's Head Theatre, portraying an Essex grandmother who claims to be Marilyn Monroe. She was cast as Dr. Victoria Spencer in Spencer Hawkins' 2016 film No Reasons. In February 2023, Michelle was announced as a new guest star on the BBC One soap opera EastEnders, starting in spring 2023. She was set to portray Jo Cotton, the secret wife of Tom Rocky Cotton, with her first scenes airing on March 29, 2023. Michelle is married to Graham Fowler, a cinematographer whom she wed in 1974. They have a daughter, Louise, born in 1989, who is also an actress known as Louise Michelle. In September 2015, Michelle appeared on Big Brother's Bit on the Side and was injured when Farrah Abraham threw a champagne glass during a dispute with Aislinn Horgan-Wallace. The incident caused the show to end early and led to a police investigation. Michelle was hospitalized with whiplash, concussion, and balance issues, later pressing charges. In 2016, Michelle revealed she suffered from tinnitus. Thank you so much for joining us on this Allo Allo journey. That was quite a walk down memory lane, wasn't it? From the antics at the cafe to the covert resistance activities, Allo Allo kept us thoroughly amused. Share your favorite Allo Allo moments in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more nostalgic content. We have plenty more classic shows to dive into.